On this episode of Delivering Marketing Joy, we talk with Daniel Webb about sometimes the best innovation is just going to see your clients. Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and I am really excited today to have a brand new guest, the president of Webb Company, Daniel Webb. Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Kirby. It's an awesome pleasure.
Oh, awesome. I really appreciate it. You know, I first of all, I just kind of want to congratulate you. You were recently named a rising star in the promotional products industry, and, A, congratulations. And,
thank you.
And B, what does that mean? What does that recognition really mean for you and your company?
I mean, it's been an amazing honor. There have been some amazing, great talent to have shared this kind of recognition in the past. And to be a part of such a small group is very humbling. And really, Kirby, to be quite honest with you, it was kind of a secret goal of mine to be on this list. Little backstory, but I was attending my first, I think it was NALC in 2014 in Boston. And, I was sitting there during the dinner, and there was just some amazing names that got called up. And I know a couple of them that I recall were, Tiffany Tar from Sugar Central, and Brittany David from Snugs was on there. So just an amazing list. And, all the talented people that are growing and shaping the industry. And I was at the dinner, I was just so motivated and energized. And I kind of told myself, I got to get on that list. So, 2 years later, I pay him $10,000. It feels great. And I wasn't able to attend the NALC last year, but I had already sent him my confirmation for it this year. Then I got the news. So it's great. And I don't even know this, but I was also got on the counselor's Hot 25 list earlier this spring. So it's just been a very humbling year. And it comes down to just doing what you love, and when you get to that point where you really truly do love what you do, it makes it so much easier and fun, and you're able to grow as a professional and as a person so much easier and faster and more just naturally, I feel like. So it's been just a whirlwind of a year, but it's been a lot of fun. Really, I hope the recognition just gives people that might not be that I've had the pleasure of working with in the past, give the confidence to knowing that, I do good and I do right by my customers, and, Webb's been around for 30 years, and to continue to be kind of a fighter and do right by our customers, I kind of say we're almost like a damn cat. We've got 9 lives, and, the best part is, I'm just getting started. I'm just still, I consider myself very new still, and to have that kind of recognition, already has been an amazing, humbling feat for me.
Yeah, that's really awesome. What I like about that, Daniel, is you were at that and you didn't take the road that you can take, and that's jealousy, right? That's not terribly productive when you see people being recognized to be like, oh gosh, what did they do to deserve it? Instead, you were like, hey, you know what? That's going to motivate me to do better and grow and that sort of thing. And so I think that's sort of a lesson I think we can all learn, because I know, it's easy to go the other way, if that makes sense, right? So you and I met.
Very motivating.
Yeah, no, motivated, exactly. So you and I met several years ago, but a lot can change in several years. So how have you evolved as a business person in that amount of time?
Let me do my first gray hairs count.
They do for me.
Right. Honestly, I'd say probably the biggest thing is I'm a lot hungrier now. And I guess that's a true testament to the recognition that I've received in the last years. A lot hungrier than I used to be. I grew up seeing an extremely strong work ethic, and I know that's where I get my drive from, and that's, I know you're a family man too, and we want to show that to our kids as well, but really kind of growing personally as in that role and also as a professional role. But I'd also say I'm a lot more hands-on with my customers and my company as well than I was 5 years ago. I know when we first met, I was still probably handling the majority of my purchasing department and my procurement department and a lot of internal operations and a lot of management situations I was dealing with. And when I want to say when we met, I was really just starting to dip my toes into the sales. And And I started to dip my toes into sales because we needed sales as a company as a whole. So, that would kind of helped out. But now that I've been able to focus on it, I've been able to kind of do a lot of restructuring and reorganization. And, now, our sales goals this year is 3 times what it was 4 years ago. So I'm much more involved with my customers, but also involved with the industry as a whole. I volunteer, on my regional association, UMAP, Upper Midwest Association of Promotional Products. So, and I've also been asked and been happy to do so to be on other advisory boards in the industry that helps further not only myself but my organization as the industry as a whole. So that's been a lot of fun. But kind of a test to that too is the industry has evolved so much in the last 5 years.
For sure.
And the evolution has been in many ways tailored a lot more to my generation, I feel like. Kind of another little funny flashback story, but my first trade show I ever did was in 2004. And it was Vegas Expo, the largest one. It was only a few months into my professional career. And I remember sitting there, and we had a big booth there, so, being there all excited, and then the show started the first day. And I remember leaning over to my VP of sales at the time, and I remember asking something to the extent of, do people die at these shows? And it sounds a little callous to say it, but back, 10, 12 years ago, the industry was such a prominent dynamic of, 50 to 80-year-old men. Mm-hmm. And that's really a lot, it really was the core focus, the core demographic of the industry, And over the last 12 years, so much younger people got into the industry. It's gotten a lot more, hip, sexy, fun, fresh, where it's turned my work into a lot of fun as well. And again, I think that's what helps keep the industry evolving and growing. A lot more young people coming in there with a lot more technology-driven backgrounds. So I think coming from that background I have, where I'm second generation, I also feel like I've got a lot more to prove, and that keeps me a lot hungrier and motivated to grow and evolve as an individual, as a company.
That's awesome, man. That's really great. So actually, it kind of leads nicely into the next question, because I was thinking, it's said in business that, either if you're static, you're dying. There's no status quo. You're either growing or you're dying, kind of thing. How do you try and stay innovative in business?
The $1 million question.
Yeah, right? The key word, innovation.
Yeah. To me, you gotta question the status quo. Hands down, one of the most frustrating things I've ever heard one of my employees say to me is, well, we've always done it that way. That to me means, you're absolutely right. If you aren't evolving, you're dying. Yeah. We've done a lot of things over the last few years to really walk that walk. Manufacturing is definitely the largest physical change we've endured over, the last number of years. 5 years ago, we were importing all of our lip balm. Now I make over 120 SKUs in-house, fresh daily, of our own lip balm. Same thing with our mints. Now we're making over 500 pounds of mints in-house a day. So manufacturing has been the biggest physical evolution and innovation that we've done over the last number of years. Also, going back to technology, I'm working on implementing an entirely new ERP system. We'll be able to be completely paperless within a couple of years, all cloud-based. That's kind of the company side of the evolution and how we've tried to keep innovative. But it's kind of, I really like this question because the biggest thing that we've done, or that I've done almost innovative, is in a lot of people's minds the complete opposite of what innovation is. And that's getting back to the basics. Yeah. Getting back to the relationships. Getting back to being in front of our customers' faces. When I kind of took on most of the sales and marketing aspects of the company again, we had lost touch with a lot of customers, and we were in kind of an economical decline, so we stopped marketing. how do you stop marketing when you're a marketing company? That's what we do. That's our life. So a lot of our innovation has been, I'm on the road more now than ever. I'm in front of faces, in front of customers' faces more so than often. Webb, we have a great reputation in the industry, and we've been around for 30 years, and people just get habitual, and they kind of forget that you're even around. There's so much competition and so much saturation that honestly a lot of my innovation has just been getting back to the basics.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. And I totally buy into that. That's something that I preach to my folks as well. Is when in doubt, go see the people.
Right.
So you've answered my questions. I gave you the opportunity to ask me one question. Do you have one for me?
Yeah. I had it written down. Give me a second here. Excuse me.
No problem.
One other thing too, while I'm looking this up, that I want to kind of comment on is, I think it's important to know your client base, and that's the way we try to stay innovative as well. And what I mean by that is more so along the lines of know how they communicate, because everyone communicates differently. And I have customers that text me at night. I have customers that Facebook message me throughout the day. And I might get people that walk by my office and they go, "Oh, he's just on Facebook." But I've probably got 4 chat dialogues going with 6 different projects going on. And I love that kind of stuff. I feed off of that. So know your clients and know how they like to communicate. All right, here's what I got for you.
Okay.
What do you see as your biggest challenge for 2016 in business? And at the opposite end of that, a quote I like is, if you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. What do you see as your largest competitive advantage?
Okay. Wow, that's a great question. So I would say that, challenges for 2016, I would say one of the things, and it actually the two go together. Okay, so let me kind of position the first or the second part of that question is, what's our competitive advantage? I think one of the things that we do well is we are full service as a distributorship. We have video production in-house, we have graphic design in-house. So the point being not a sales pitch, but just to say, hey, look, from that perspective, we're a little bit different. But the other piece is we, I think, do the content side of content marketing better than most people. Not just in our industry, but in most. I think as a company, we do that pretty well. So that's one of the pieces of our competitive advantage when everybody sells the same thing for the same price, right? So that's a big piece. Now, the big challenge on the flip side of that is one of the things I tell people when they decide to do a content marketing strategy is it's a long-term play. Right? It's not something, and you're finding this, I'm sure, when you're going and seeing people, it's not something you hit an email blast and it drives sales. It takes time. It builds relationships. It takes time to build that integrity and that trust. And so the challenge on the other side of that is cash, right? You still need to keep the cash flow rolling while you're building that, because if you can get that wave coming, then that'll take care of itself. But in the short term, that's a challenge. So I see that both a competitive advantage, but also I need to ride the wave to make sure cash makes sense too. So that would be my answer.
Cash flow is king.
That's exactly right, my friend. That's exactly right. Well, cool. Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate
Thank you, Kirk.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations on a heck of a year, man. Heck of a year.
It's only not quite halfway yet.
That's right. That's cool. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up. Yeah, for sure.
It's been an awesome year so far.
Cool. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching, but wait! Can you do me a favor? Please subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done it already, the way to do it's right over here. And hey, if you want to watch the last episode, check that out over here. Again, before you leave, subscribe!